this month I'm currently at like a 28x ROAS, 29x ROAS on my ads over the last month. Conquer seems to be very ahead of what everyone else is doing.
One or two pieces of advice that you would have given your old self, that videographer who didn't have clarity, who didn't know who to target, and which is stuck not landing any clients. What are those one or two pieces of advice you would have given yourself back then?
I think the biggest thing for me would be, so I kind of knew that I needed to commit to one thing. Your peak is a lot higher than I think you realize. I do want to hit an 80K month. That's my goal.
What's going on, everyone? So we have another content agency case study today. We have Cooper. Cooper, in the last 30 days, how much have you made?
24.5K in revenue, and then about, I think it's 18 in cash.
Woo, let's go. Awesome to hear that, Cooper. Well, I know we've been working for a while together now. So I really want to recap where you started, what you're currently doing, and then like what you're going to be doing in the next few months, because we all know there's going to be a lot of growth in the next few months for you as well. So I know when you first started, talk about when you first started. I think you were like targeting med spas. Let's talk about that. And I'll also mention what you do.
Yeah, so when I first started, I was actually targeting real estate agents. So that was when I came into the business program. We hopped on the first call. I was supporting with real estate agents, a couple random local businesses, and then then I started getting into the med spa space. And the biggest thing that I noticed, like before I joined doing this program, was just like the lack of clarity on multiple parts of what I was doing. One of the biggest things was the offer, but also, kind of understanding the impact that I could actually have on these local business solutions. And so that was like a big thing that I was looking for when I joined the program. Previous to the program, I was bouncing between a bunch of different stuff. And so I kind of knew that I needed to commit to one thing. So yeah, that was my redeem one. So that's where I started. And then, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So okay, so that's what you started as. And let's also talk about like, what was the biggest problem that you were having? I know we mentioned clarity and stuff, but like we were stuck in the cold outreach game for a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first joined the program too, it was like I was not confident in myself or my offer enough yet to put it in front of as many people as I wanted to. So I was doing a lot of time doing cold outreach, a lot of cold DMs, emails. I was even going in person to med spas in Michigan.
Yep.
And it was, I had there was some success, but it was just inconsistent. And at that point, when you're doing that, you're kind of treating every lead as it just takes a lot of time, basically. You're spending way too much time with every single lead, every single business. And what happened then was I believe it was middle of October, I switched to running advertisements. And that basically completely changed my understanding of how the business game is played. And so, yeah, from then on, I've just been running advertisements and waking up every day and knowing where my next lead is coming from. I think that's one of the craziest experiences I've ever had.
Let's talk about that as well, because a lot of people are scared to invest into ads and stuff because they think they need a massive budget and all these other misconceptions. Let's talk about how you literally only booked 4 or 5 calls, and I think you closed all of them, right? When you first started.
Yeah. Yes, I booked. Yeah, it was four. So I ran about, I remember correctly, it was less than $300 in ads. Yeah, it was like $270 in ads. This is back in, so November when I started closing new clients. And at that point it was what was the ROAS number? It was like a 14.
I think it might have been 19. Yeah. It was some crazy stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And then just for reference as well, this month I'm currently at a 28x ROAS, 29x ROAS on my ads over the last month.
That's ridiculous. Awesome. And I think the original ads were also just the OG story ad, right? The DM ad.
Yeah, it's super straightforward. I think too, that's a common misconception is it's so complicated, the ad setup, and it's going to take time. And that's why I was so scared to invest in them, because I was like, oh, what if it doesn't work? But you have to trust in the system and trust in yourself that you're capable of figuring it out. And ads are going to be the fastest way for you to learn as well. You get so much information when you run ads, you're able to actually iterate and change it, update your offer so that you just grow a lot faster.
100%. Honestly, I think it costs more not to run ads. Well, why? Because think about how long it took for you to collect feedback when trying to do cold outreach, right? It took you forever to see if your offer was even validated. Whereas with ads, you just muscle up a few $100s and you can see right away if your offer is in demand or not in demand, which is the best thing whenever you're trying to scale, increase the feedback loop, implement, optimize, et cetera, et cetera. So let's talk about the offer that you're running right now and why you think that that's going to get you to whatever. What's your goal though? First, let's talk about what's the goal for the next 3 months, 6 months, and let's say end of year for Cooper.
Got you. Yes, I actually have it written down on my whiteboard up here. I do want to hit an 80K month. That's my goal. It's going to go for a while. I think in the next 6 months, by the end of the year, I'd like to hit, 40, 50K month. And at that point, I would also like to have some of that be reoccurring revenue as well. Yep. because right now I am working with clients on like a set time frame, so between 3 and 6 months. And basically what I do is I go in and I implement a content and ad system for them, and then I teach them how to, turn that attention into sales on the back end. So it's like a 3 to 6 month program, and I charge an upfront fee for that, or upfront price, and that's allowing me to collect a lot of cash upfront, which is also allowing me to reinvest it back into ads on the back end.
Which is great, because it allows you also to get case studies, get people in. But yeah, it's very important to have that recurring model, like we've talked about as well, to give people context. Cooper has like a done with you offer, but he's also going to be implementing a done for you offer. So let's talk about that as well. I know you've been in a few programs before, a few amazing programs. What do you think really makes the biggest difference between like us compared to like other ones that you've been in before?
Yeah, I think just I don't even know the right way to explain it, but like the technological/systems background that you guys have is unlike anything I've seen in the space. And I talk to a ton of people in different programs in the space at this point too. And, a lot of like the back end, they're just Concur seems to be very ahead of what everyone else is doing in terms of back end systems. And so what's the quote you use? You fall to the level of your systems.
Yeah, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
Yeah, exactly. So the point being with that is like, it doesn't matter how good your offer is, how good your ads are. Like if you can't handle that inbound, because that's the biggest thing I noticed. I started running the ads, right? And it's like I had so much, inbound lead flow. It was like how to deal with that on the back end, how to deal with, client projects, et cetera, on the back end. And, when you're just starting out, you don't realize like how important those things become or how quickly those things become relevant. So having a being part of a program that has those back end systems already built out for you in a very plug and play manner, I think is super important.
Yeah, which is exactly what you're going to be implementing in the next few weeks as well, which is going to take you to even like the next level. So let's talk about that. What are 2 to 3 things? Because I want to give some value to the audience as well, right? So a big thing that you said, it's not just about running ads and then your business is just all of a sudden going to scale. What are a few of those systems that you're implementing that are going to allow you to hit the 40 to 50K per month right now?
Gotcha. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things we're working on right now is with the client nurturing process. And so, between the time that I do a 2-call close basically for clients, and implementing a system where between those 2 calls you're nurturing the clients with emails and videos, personalized videos, DSLs, whatever it happens to be, you can all automate that on the back end. So basically once you book in the call, an email sequence fires and your clients to get all of that information. Stuff like that's super important.
Yeah. What about for your client side? Is there anything that you're implementing for your clients? Because I know you're running ads for them, right?
I got you. Yeah. So would you want me to go in the direction of like the AI?
Yeah, go in that direction.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I've noticed that our clients have issues with, one of the most important parts of the process with these local businesses is that they need to be figuring out how to turn the attention that they generate. Because I set up ads for my local businesses as well. They need to figure out how to turn that attention into, actual money for their business, actual book deals, clients, whatever it happens to be. And so building out a system for them, we're heading in the direction of an AI system. So it's essentially, we're able to implement systems that are automatically following up, clients' inbound needs. And it's just going to completely change the game.
Massive.
Yeah, for all these local businesses. Because
So
they don't want to be dealing with, tons of inbound leads and all this. They want to be running the business. And so being part of a program that's pushing the envelope when it comes to like technology and AI and implementing these systems in like I said before, a very plug and play manner. It changes the game for both you and your clients. And once again, like it's great to be taught how to go out and find new clients. Like you can go out into these programs, right? And they teach you how you can go out and get as many clients as possible. But at the end of the day, if you can get real results for your clients as well, that's the most important part, because that's going to be what really allows you to scale your business, is if you're getting results with that.
Yeah, 100%. Very well said. So Cooper, let's end this call off with like 1 or 2 pieces of advice that you would have given your old self, that videographer who didn't have clarity, who didn't know who to target, and was just stuck not landing any clients. Like, what are those 1 or 2 pieces of advice you would have given yourself back then?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing for me would be to run the ads, get out and put yourself in front of as many people as possible. Like there's so many people out there that need your service that, your service is valuable. Go out and show it off to as many people as possible. And remember that it'll probably take a little bit longer than you think, but also your peak is a lot higher than I think you realize. And so if you can remember those 2 things, I think that's the biggest thing for me, like going back and like, it's going to take 6 months. It's going to take 12 months, but the place that you'll reach, you won't even realize it, but you'll be sitting there and you're like, wow, these were the days that I was hoping for, that I was praying for, and now we're here. And that's, for me, that was just the craziest realization.
Beautiful. No, that's powerful, especially when you're building something real. That's going to take time, you know? So Cooper, what's your Instagram? So everyone, let's hold Cooper accountable to hit 40, 50K per month at the end of the year. Let's all shoot him a follow. What's your IG?
Awesome. So my IG, my business Instagram is local_Cooper.
Awesome. Beautiful. Well, Cooper, thank you so much, man. Super proud of you. Super excited to see your growth. And I'll talk to you soon.
Perfect. Thank you, Julian.